What up, everybody in the YTBC? I'm using a headset, so I don't think anybody's watching yet. Once I know somebody's watching, then I'm gonna ask for a feedback, so I know how I sound. Is it picking up background noise? Does it sound good? Does it sound like shit? What does it sound like? That's what I need to know. It says I got four. What up, Martin Ramos? What up, El Campeon? 1-2 Kid, Soccer Training Club, the Boxing Jedi. Um, El Campeon, are you a dude by any chance? What up, Champ Ross? Y'all let me know how I sound, cause I'm using a mic that I've never used before. I don't know if that's gonna sound good or bad or whatnot. I would think it would sound good, but I want to know for sure. So if y'all could just give me a little bit of feedback, and then we'll get into some boxing talk. So, all right. 1-2 Kid says it sounds fine. Anybody else got a little bit of input? I mean, I trust 1-2 Kid. MMA champ 2.0. All right. Ooh, it's getting windy all of a sudden. My girlfriend's in the bedroom watching one of her shows. So I don't want to be in there and y'all hearing, sitcoms in the background. So my girlfriend's kind of weird. She likes to watch these sitcoms from the 90s. I'm going to be honest with you. The sitcoms from the 90s, they were fine for the 90s, but for the most part, and of course there's exceptions to the rule, but for the most part, I don't wish to revisit most of them. I don't wish to watch Full House, Friends, shit like that. Seinfeld, I actually wouldn't mind watching from time to time. It's not something I would watch on the regular, but the jokes are pretty good. But yeah, I don't want y'all to have to um hear that in the background. What up, boxing with Sean? Oh, so Sean Newton, you changed the name of your channel? All right, boxing with Sean. I like it. So, if you want to know my thoughts on Burchell versus Valdez, um, it's kind of tough. Like Burchell, he he had a pretty bad knockout loss. So I don't. I'm gonna say it's a 50-50. We'll see. We'll see. And I mean, I know Burchell had lost before, but that knockout loss was pretty bad. So we'll see. Um, we'll see if he suffers any post traumatic stress syndrome in that fight. Let's see. All right. Okay. Thanks everybody for the feedback on the audio. Um, I just wanted a couple different, a couple opinions coming from different people, and I appreciate that. Appreciate it a lot. I'm getting back in the swing of things. I uploaded 2 videos today. Um, I'm working on another video. I was actually working on it right before I started the live, and I was gonna start the live a little earlier, but I wanted to finish what I was doing, and I think you are gonna find it funny. But that being said, depending on what happens tonight, there may not be a video tomorrow. I'm gonna try my best to do at least a video a day. Um, but this video, I'm really liking where it's going, and you know, if I can finish it tonight, we'll have a video tomorrow. If I can't, then it'll have to be Wednesday. But the good news is I am working on stuff. I still have that video that I was working on before I went on hiatus. It's still there. So I can always finish up on that one. Maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll finish up that one, upload that tomorrow, and then continue on what I was working on before I started this live. Yeah, Remy. Yeah. And for those of you who have not seen The Boys, this is going to be about boxing, but just real quick, if you have not seen that show, The Boys, it's on Amazon Prime. In my opinion, it's a pretty good show. It's a pretty good show. I really enjoyed it. There's two seasons. Watched the second season a couple weeks ago, and I really enjoyed it. And I like when I watched that. I think that was the second episode of the second season where Carl Urban, aka Butcher, is like, "Don't worry, Daddy's home." And I was like, I gotta use that. I gotta use that. That face that Carl Urban makes when he tells him Daddy's home is priceless. I love it. But anyways, that's enough about The Boys. What up, Brown Gone One? What up, James Jameson? Oh yeah, so El Campeon. Yeah, Tampa was real lit. A little too lit. The night of the Super Bowl, after the Super Bowl was over. This is what happened because I originally wanted to do a live showing the craziness, but what ended up happening is um, Pete Scalebender, shout out to him, he invited me to his Super Bowl party. So I went over to Clearwater, um, and you know, watched the game over there. And when I got back over here, I stopped at the corner store to get something. So I went in there, and that corner store was packed. Now this is just a run of the mill corner store. And while I'm in there, like it's packed, half the people were drunk as hell. Um, and they're like, "Oh, Mahomes didn't do shit. They need to, they need to take, they need to take that kicker out to dinner because he's the only one who scored point." It was like, I'm like, and they were being all loud and rowdy. I could tell the dude that was working was getting irritated. So me, I when I go out, I don't get drunk. If I'm gonna get drunk, I'm gonna get drunk at home because I don't have to worry about people taking advantage of me or anything. You got to drink responsibly. So that's my philosophy. If you're gonna get fucked up, do it at home. Do it at home, and if you're gonna get really fucked up, have somebody you trust there with you who they could drink, but you don't want them fucked up as well. Because if something happens and you get alcohol poisoning and whatnot, you need somebody who got your back. So those are just some quick takeaways. I don't really get drunk anymore. I think that part of my life is pretty much done and over with. Um, Last time I was tipsy, I would say was like 4 years ago, maybe three. It's been a while, you know. So I don't even drink much anymore. It's just from time to time. But anyways, that's besides the point. It was lit the night of the Super Bowl. Um, I knew coming home was going to be somewhat of a problem because my house is right by the stadium. Um, but I mean, you can't buy good times. And Pete Scalebender, this is the second time I hung out with him. First time was the night of the Loma Lopez fight. He's a great host, great guy. Um, I had a good time. But let me take a look at some comments here. How's it going? UGC Flame, aka Black Horseman. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link because I don't really have nothing in particular. I just want to, talk some boxing. We'll see how long my phone will allow me to go live. There we go. Because I had my plan was I was letting my phone charge because me and Tommy were talking earlier, and I had to let him go because my phone would not permit, and I knew I wanted. I had told y'all guys I was doing this live before. I said Monday 9-ish p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I tried to get the phone fully charged. When it got to like 85%, it was like 8 o'clock, and I'm like, um, let me make sure I don't have somebody waiting in the background. But it was like 8 o'clock, so I'm like, okay, the phone's pretty charged, and I could probably do a little bit of editing and put the phone back on the charger. Big mistake. So I ended up editing all the way up to the point where I started the live. So, and I didn't want to not do the live. I wanted to do it. Um, my mistake has been, saying I'm going to do something and I don't do it. And in my head, I'm like, oh, well, everybody will understand. And which is true, but I shouldn't just say I'm going to do something and not do it, just like a lot of these boxers. So there's going to be times where you misspeak, where you know, spread yourself thin and whatnot. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it shouldn't be a habit. Shouldn't be a habit. But we can talk about whatever when it comes to this boxing talk. The link is there in the chat for anybody who wants to jump on. Um, Hopefully Ronald Finkley will show up because I know he wanted to jump on my panel. The last live I did of 2020, and I think it's just because I wanted to say Happy New Year and stuff, and I had stuff that I was gonna do because it was New Year's Eve. So I said, I'm gonna try to do a live as soon as I can with the panel open. So hopefully he shows up. But anybody is welcome to hit the link. We could talk about whatever. I know a lot of people are talking about the Josh Warrington knockout. There's a lot of talk about Haney and Lopez. There's a lot of talk about Wilder still. It's been almost a year. We still talking about Wilder, and it's not our fault. It's just the name of the game. It doesn't help that we're in a pandemic and we are getting boxing, but the boxing we're getting is kind of limited. Um, in a lot of cases. So you know, a lot of these fight. There's a new excuse. A lot of these fights aren't happening because they want crowds and shit like that. So, but yeah, big shout out to Remy, Black Horseman, Soccer Training Club, James Jameson, Boxing with Sean, El Campeon, The Boxing Jedi, 1-2 Kid. I think I got everybody. I think I gave everybody their respect because, I got to put respect on your name. But until somebody jumps on, I guess I'll just go ahead and talk about the community. You know, I'm seeing I'm seeing a lot of good things and some bad things in the community. I've been more active since Friday. Like I said, trying to get into the swing of things. I don't feel like editing is really a problem. I think the time it takes to edit is more of a problem than the editing itself. So, I mean, that's just life. Life is gonna, you got responsibilities, you gotta keep your priorities straight. James Jameson says that the UFC is leading the way with Fight Islands. Is that a joke or are you for real? I don't keep up with the UFC like that. Now I do jump into the UFC community whenever I can. Um, Big shout out to Mr. Arkansas. Him and Xavier, those are the main ones I go to. Also, Jack Attack, MMA. All three of those guys are cool. Mr. Arkansas is a little crazy, but I don't mind it. And he comes up with good ideas. But Jack Attack, really cool dude. I don't. I mean, he. What the fuck? Sorry, my phone did something real funky just now. Okay. Oh, we got the Black Horseman. What up, brother?
Good homie.
So yeah, we could talk about whatever. I just wanted to, you know, um, fill in the dead air till somebody jumped on.
Yeah, no doubt.
Have you
What's
heard
the
about
latest?
that? Just real quick, have you heard about that? I mean, I remember there was some talks about them doing like a island thing, the UFC. Back when the pandemic first started. Early in the pandemic, and it seems like it was not successful, but James Jameson kind of brought it up again. So is that something that's being revisited, or you haven't heard nothing like that?
I haven't heard, bro.
Oh,
I haven't
okay.
heard
Well,
any Indian following like that.
yeah. I was just curious. What up, Xavier? Yeah, that's one of the MMA guys I was just talking about. He's a cool kid. He knows he does his thing when it comes to editing. Um, so
Yeah,
when I do look for any kind of MMA stuff, that's one of the channels I go to.
is that the one that's got XTIC?
Yeah, XTIC.
Okay. Shout
Yeah,
out to
he's
him.
a cool kid. He's a cool kid. He's young. He's in college. He's like 22, if I'm not mistaken. Unless he had a birthday since the last time I really spoke with him. Me and him keep in touch. It's just because I've been busy. I haven't been able to keep in touch with him as much as I was before I went on hiatus.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad you back though, man. I'm definitely glad
I'm
you
glad to
back.
be back. I'm working on something. Like, I'm gonna be honest. When I did that speech, I don't know if any, I don't know if everybody noticed, but that speech that I did, that was completely a parody of Wilder's "Your King is Here" speech,
Yeah, we
and
figured, yeah,
I kind of surprised myself because I I took the speech and then I reworded it. And as I was reading everything out, I had to make like one or two changes because some of the stuff didn't sound right. But then when some of the stuff, like when I said, those who don't know how to debate, those who don't know how to create, I didn't even mean to rhyme that. And then the the thing about and Sporting Advantage caught it about we're gonna rise like a PED from the VADA test. I didn't realize how good that line actually was till I read it out loud.
yeah. Hey, can you hear me on these earbuds?
I can. There is echoing, but then again, I'm also using a mic that I've never used for these lives, so the echo could be on my part.
No, I'm taking this shit off now. I don't like
All
that.
right. Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you way more clearer now, and you're not echoing at all.
Yeah, cheap ass earbuds promotion, bro. That's what that was. Yeah, take them off, man. But yeah,
Yeah.
man.
So
Crazy upsets this weekend, huh?
yeah, the Josh Warrington thing, like um and it's funny because I had just said, I can't really write off any guy because how many times do we think this guy has no chance, and then he goes and he pulls off the upset. And I'm not talking about the guy who won. I'm just saying in general, you'll have an underdog who comes in there and he shows you what he's really all about.
Right. Hey, did you hear that Eddie Hearn said that's a bigger upset than Ruiz beating Joshua? You agree?
I do agree because let's be honest. If you hear the name Lara, you don't think of this guy. You're thinking
Nah,
of you're
Cuban.
thinking of the Cuban Lara. I didn't know who this guy was. And I mean, partially, I just haven't been keeping up with everything as like I want to, and I'm, working on that. But also, I mean, I think even if I didn't go on hiatus, let's say I just kept doing everything the same as I was, there's a good chance I still wouldn't have known who this guy was. So I knew who Ruiz was.
Mm. Hey, you think that the pandemic is a true test of the character of these fighters to see who's the real deal fighters and who really not?
I do. I
The
think
reason why, yeah, go
I,
ahead.
I was gonna say I think it's definitely exposing some character flaws and lifestyle flaws of some of these guys.
Yeah, man. Because we're seeing the ones that stay in discipline, making weight, going in there in shape, not the whole lot of ring rust. Then you see other ones is not making weight, they in there fighting to a draw with dudes they should be getting out of there. You know what I mean? So it's crazy, bro. Starting to see who the real deal fighters is and who the ones is just they may just do this for the popularity, fame, with a paycheck, man.
Yeah, look at this. L Dog, he said this guy was legit KO'd by a bum with a losing record in the first round. This was a huge upset.
Hey, he had a losing record?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know because I don't know much about the guy.
I mean, neither.
I'm gonna have to look. I'm gonna have to look into that because, um, I mean, L Dog. I mean, L Dog likes to troll, which is cool. L Dog. I'm not putting you down. Like you do like little friendly trolls, and it's actually pretty funny. So when you troll and it's not funny and you're being malicious, that's a different story. But I doubt he also knows his boxing though. I know that he knows his boxing. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm not trying to say
um,
you don't know. But I just want to like,
uh,
why is Warrington fight a dude with a losing record? The fuck?
yeah. I mean, you know,
Claim to
it
shame.
it could have been it could have been one of those light touches that these guys like to take. And let me say this, all right? There's nothing wrong with taking a light touch from time to time. And he was on a long layoff, so if there was a time to take a light touch, you know, the layoff would be when to do it. Just make sure that you don't take another long layoff right after. But um but yeah, I mean that is like he has to feel like shit. Like he has to feel like what the hell happened.
Yeah, man. If that's true though, the dude had a losing record and he lost to him, bro. Dog, like you can't. That's flame of shame, dog. Sorry. You
Yeah.
mean to tell me you wasn't prepared enough to get it to be the dude with a losing record? I'm gonna check myself, but that's crazy. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Let me just acknowledge somebody else. Durden Boxing, what up? Durden's always whenever he can support, he does. I want to acknowledge him. Um but yeah, you're right. Like if he had a losing record, um that's embarrassing.
I gotta
But you
make
got
this face right here, dog. Sorry, dog.
the classic Devin Haney.
This hey, listen. This is called the disappointed Devin face.
That face works for a lot of different it works for a lot of different
Scenarios, I guess.
situations, yeah,
Yeah.
scenarios. Very versatile. You got to
Shout out
keep
to the
that
imagery.
one.
Shout out to the imagery out here, man. As soon as they asked him, he was like, "How do you feel about Teofimo Lopez saying he the WBC champ?" He made that look. I said, "Oh yeah, screenshot."
Oh, here we got L Dog right now. What up, L
Yo,
Dog?
yo. Hey, it's good to have you back, Rick Love. Black Horseman was good. Nah, it was the guy who KO'd Mauricio Lara. He had a losing record, I'm pretty sure. Like, let me just check this. Mauricio
Yeah,
Lara, he got knocked out in the first round against a guy who was 8th 3-1. So sorry, not a losing record, but pretty bad record, really.
Yeah.
You only had
This Mauricio
4
Lara
fights.
dude is trash.
And he knocked out Warrington, who's supposed to be, I don't know,
Yeah,
yeah, supposed to be world class. Maybe I shouldn't say elite, but he's supposed to be a world class boxer.
right.
Damn, bro.
That was
And
a
I was
that,
giving flame to Gary Russell before this for not taking the Warrington fight.
bro. He should have. Like, holy shit, he would have destroyed him.
He would have been a unified champ. I don't know what's cracking with Gary, man.
Yeah, that whole thing with Gary, and I like Gary. I've made videos in the past where giving him props and showing appreciation for him, but that whole thing about $1 million was unacceptable. You complain about how Al Heyman doesn't give you the fights that you want, and you're not making $1 million in your fights that you are getting, and then you're barely fighting. So to me, I didn't like that.
Yeah, flame machine. Should have took that, man. He ain't doing nothing.
There's a lot of flame of shame to go around because then you got Fat Joe Diaz
Yep.
and his, you know,
And then he fought to a
unapologetic.
draw. Like, damn. Not only did you lose the belt, but the dude you was supposed to go in there and watch, you fought to a draw. Like, damn.
Now, we'll say that guy, that Rakhimov, I think was better. I don't think he would have washed them
No.
anyways. I think it would have been a nice competitive fight. But when you're not disciplined, what do you expect? And that's why I said, like, he earlier today, I was saying, like, he made that excuse of, oh, well, my health has to come first. I have kids. If your health has to come first, you're a professional boxer. You need to be taking it seriously. If you're not making weight, you're either not taking it seriously or you're outgrowing the division. And if you're outgrowing the division, it's your responsibility to move your ass up.
It's like you're either professional or you're not.
Exactly. So, what up, Baza MXBC? I don't believe I've ever seen you before, unless you had a different name. But welcome to the chat. Yeah, that's just like, I gave Joe a lot of credit when he beat Farmer. He went in there and he did his thing, and wasn't that fight in Philly too?
Damn. It wasn't?
I think it was. I could be wrong. Nobody quote me on that. I don't remember for sure, but I want to say that was in Philly when he beat. So you go into the guy's backyard, if that is the case. You take his belt just to leave it on just to lose it on the scale.
Yeah, that's terrible, bro. It was like you went up and then you went down just that fast.
I was about to ask L Dog what he thought of that Rakhimov fight. L Dog, if you want to just put it in the chat, you can. But I am curious to know what you thought of that fight.
Shit, I was so damn busy.
He got low battery. Now I hear you. This the StreamYard ain't no joke. That's why I want to try to get more people to use the PSN app, because that app it don't eat up your battery like that. Like, you'll be able to go way longer, but I know it sounds kind of weird using a gaming console app, but it works.
Works though.
Yeah. What up, Jack Attack MMA? Bonjour. That's one of the MMA guys. When I do want to listen to some MMA, because I'm a casual.
I'm not even casual. Like, I'm not even got to that level yet for MMA. I don't even watch that shit. So
Trust me, Black. I'm being generous. When I say I'm a casual, I'm giving myself way too much credit.
I don't know what's going on over there. I remember I
Yeah,
just heard last I heard was Tyron Woodley got beat up.
I've actually been hearing a lot about this. I, I, I don't even really know who Usman is. I know a
Mm.
little bit, but it's very, very little. But I guess supposedly his win over the weekend was supposed to be like historical from my understanding. But I don't really know much about him. I
Oh,
think I heard that he's kind of like I could be wrong, but I think I once heard that he's like a poor man's Conor McGregor, as far as how Conor McGregor was like the bad guy.
where you from?
Usman, I'm
Yeah,
not sure. Jack Attack, you if you can put in the chat um where Usman is from.
damn.
So
Yeah, the emotional man fan thumbnail. No, who's that?
we got
Nah, I'm
one,
just
two
waiting on
kid.
this. I'm just waiting on this
This man, what
phone
to?
call to defend my title.
Right, right.
Okay, so Usman is Nigerian, but he was raised in Nebraska. He's not 100% sure on the Nebraska thing, but yeah, Jack Attack, he's just a nice guy. And really there's only three channels that I watch when it comes to MMA, and that's Xavier, um Jack Attack, and Mr. Arkansas. And that Mr. Arkansas, I gotta tell y'all that, and we'll stop with the MMA talk after this, but I just gotta give this guy props on this. I gotta give him props on two things. One, he did a 55-hour stream. He wanted to do a
What?
full, yeah, he did a 55-hour stream. Like
What?
3 mornings in a row, I woke up and this dude was live. And and let me tell you something. Some people go live for a long time, but they play music or they'll take a nap and have other people on the panel. No, this dude, he took maybe 3 naps and none of them were like longer than 20 minutes. He was
Mm,
there for the rest of it, unless he was going to the bathroom or something like that.
mm.
Man,
He also said that there's a couple times he jumped in the shower, turned on the cold water just to help him stay up. But the dude is an animal for that. So big props to him on that. But the other thing I got to give him props for is the dude is innovative. He came up with this idea of a competition where I still don't fully understand it, but basically you got 16 guys and every weekend they make their predictions. And I I might have this a little wrong, but my understanding is the guy who has like the most points when it comes to the predictions is safe from being eliminated. And every week they were eliminating 2 guys. Jack Attack was in the first competition, and he actually made it to the very end. He didn't win, but he made it to the very end. So unfortunately, they did a season 2, and one of the other guys knocked him out as early as they could because I think they saw him as a threat.
Jesus Christ! Shout out to
See,
him, man. Jack
see,
Attack.
but we could, in the boxing community, we could do shit like that, but you have too many people who are at each other's throats over stupid shit.
Yeah, petty
Oh,
wild.
and the winner gets $350 at the end.
Yeah, 350. 350. Shout out to him. To all the
Yeah,
winners out there, man.
yeah. So what up, Justin Trouble? Oh yeah, Brown Gone one. He was there too for the. There's a couple people that showed up from the boxing community when that long ass stream went on. I saw D Hodges. He's actually a member of the LDBC, but he's really cool though. Like he every time he sees me, he's always like, "What's up?" We always have good cordial conversations. El Jefe jumped in there one day during that
man.
55-hour stream. So I saw a couple boxing guys over there.
Yeah.
Damn, man, that motherfucker must have been doing something.
And there's one last thing I got to tell you about that. Okay. No lie, he did it on a whim. All right. This is how that stream started. He didn't say, "Oh, I'm going to go and do a long stream, see how far I can go." The stream started out as something completely different. It was he was having an issue with somebody in the community, or actually no, two guys in the community had an issue and he was hosting it. So they talked it out. I think it ended up being all right by the end of it. And then like people in the chat were like, "Oh, is this going to be the marathon?" Cuz this was like right before um a big fight. I forget who it was. It was before a big fight. I think it might have actually been Khabib's last fight actually. I'm not 100%. But anyways, so like if I was going to do a stream like that, I would sleep, get well rested, and as soon as I wake up, probably have some coffee, some breakfast, and then start the stream and go as long as I could. He'd already been up for like the whole day. Like he did that. He started the stream like at the end of that at the end of the night, that first night, on a whim, and went 55 hours. So no preparation, and he did it.
I mean, just an animal.
Yeah, he is. He's an animal. So, all right, we can move on from
motherfucking monster.
yeah. But I think I've given him enough props. We can move on. But yeah, he's an animal. Unfortunately, you can't watch the stream anymore because once you go over a certain amount of time, YouTube, they have limitations as to how long the live could be in order for it to stay up. But
Damn.
yeah, I think since then it actually increased because I think the it used to be you couldn't go any more than 12 hours.
55 hours for no reason.
He kept it entertaining. He kept it entertaining too. It was not boring. Every time of course I didn't watch the whole 55 hours, but when I was there, I was being entertained.
Yeah. I would be too if I stay up the whole 55. Yeah.
Xavier actually did a long stream recently, and I think you're able to still watch it though. I'm not 100% sure. He did like a 30-hour stream. Because I saw it after it had already ended and it was still there. So I was in the middle of something. I was gonna try to check it out, but I was doing something at the time. But
stamina for that though, man. Yeah. That's still some shit though to do.
I did one for almost 7 or 8. And the only reason it went that long is I was about to shut down, and then IOTBA came on. I was like, first I was arguing with Get the Smoke. That shit took like 2 hours. And then I got on, and then IO got on. I was like, all right, I'm gonna cut it off. IO was like, yo, what up? He did his introduction. I was like, damn. He was like, but I don't believe you though. I'm like, God, man, I don't want to do this shit right now.
Yeah, Get the Smoke can definitely be long-winded, and he has a lot of stamina. Like he really, you got to give the guy credit. He believes what he's saying, even if you don't. He puts full belief in what he's saying. But recently I saw another guy. I forget whose stream it was on, and no lie, like this guy hadn't said nothing the whole time. He was waiting, and I Buy Houses was like, oh boy, because the host was like, he's like, all right, we're gonna let this guy talk. I never seen him before. I don't remember his name, but I guess I Buy Houses has seen him before. And he's like, this guy takes forever to get to a point. And I Buy Houses, he hit it dead on the money. The dude, he stuttered a lot, which I'm not gonna make fun of somebody, if he has a speech impediment, or maybe sometimes I stutter and stumble on my words just because, whatever it is, for whatever reason, it's just not working out for me the way that I had hoped. So I'm not making fun of the guy, but he did stutter a lot. and he took forever to get to his point. And to be honest, I still don't know what his point was till this day. But here's the thing. What I found to be so ironic is who was it? There was somebody else on the panel who addressed him, and he's telling them everything, and the guy's like, I need to take it in. I can't take it in mouthfuls. I need it in bites. It's like, bro, you took forever, and you never got to your point. And now you're telling this guy that you need it in bites. You can't take it in mouthfuls. It's like you need to work on how you need to work on being more concise.
Focused point.
Oh, I didn't even realize Black was gone.
Me neither.
But that's because I wasn't looking at the phone. I was talking. What a sporting advantage. I'll drop the link again. Never know. Sometimes they don't drop off on purpose, and others are welcome to join. Like before, I had a hard time staying on my own lives because so many people want to jump on the panel. A 55-hour meth stream.
Yeah, that's just crazy, man. I don't know how you did that shit. That's insane.
Yeah,
That's a lot of time. It's a lot of time
Yeah.
on your hands, man. It's 2 days and some change. That's like 3 days, man. God damn, man.
I'll tell you what, he had like his original, and this was before I had ever known about his channel, but supposedly his original record was like 35 or something like that. So he's like, we're gonna go to at least 36. When he got to 36 hours, people just started dropping the super chats like crazy. And I'll tell you what, whatever he got that on that stream, as far as super chats is concerned, he earned it. He earned it.
Yeah, putting in that work, that OT. You getting that OT, man. Shit.
I'm letting you know right now, I ain't never doing that.
Oh nah. Hell no, man. Shit. My shits don't go much past 2 anymore. I'm done with that shit. I'm just like, yep, got shit to do. I'm just gonna attend to some business, man. Okay. Yeah, I hear you. 55 hours, that's insane.
Yeah, but they were talking about a lot of stuff. They didn't just talk about MMA. They talked about football. They talked about
Fucking life. They talked about fucking outer
they
space,
did. They
fucking
did talk about life.
depths of the ocean and shit. Like how life started. Like what the fuck, man? Motherfucker.
Well, there was even some drama, like some chick and her ex-boyfriend, who is a guy who's in the MMA community, and there was a whole thing there. The girl started crying and everything. I felt bad for her. But I'm not gonna lie, it was interesting hearing everything that but she cried about like the emotional shit, but she also roasted him because she was like, he couldn't find the clit. I laughed so hard. And the guy was a jerk. Like this guy, he's one of those people who talks himself up, and it's like, me, I prefer the humble, so he rubs me the wrong way. Cleansed MMA champ. Is this an MMA champ? You can speak whenever you're ready. Me and 1-2 Kid, we're gonna chop it up in the meantime.
Yeah. Yeah, hang out there for a minute if you like. Sit there quietly.
Well, I mean, sometimes I know how it is. Like sometimes I jump on a live and I'm ready to talk, and they're already in good conversation though. So I'm like, all right, I'll wait. And then it seems like it might be a little while, so I might start doing something. So it's fine. He could jump in whenever he's ready to. We got sporting advantage.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, Sporting? Hey, guys.
Yo, nothing much, man. Yo, actually, speaking on, I can't remember Xavier. I think that's the guy's name. I saw that 55-hour stream or whatnot, but I clicked it one time, but it was some guy that I've never seen before, so I was just like, and I watched it for a little bit, and I just clicked off.
Oh, okay. So you think that you possibly saw like a little clip.
Oh yeah,
Like-
definitely. I saw, when I saw the 55-hour stream, I was just like, okay, got to click this, see what it's about.
Yeah. Now, I will say this, amazingly enough, that's not the longest stream I've seen. I stumbled upon another stream, but it wasn't on YouTube. It was on Twitch. And I don't even know how I ended up there. But the dude said that he had been live for like a week. I'm like, damn. But it wasn't very entertaining, so I took it off.
Yeah, I've seen I forget the name of them, but there's some like famous streamers that are like gamers or whatnot, and they've got like their 24-hour like surveillance streams or whatnot. But
Yo,
other
you
than
hear me?
that, you know, I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, we can hear you, MMA. We also got Brian Harkin. I was about to welcome him to the chat, but even better, I get to welcome him to the panel.
Yo, what up, RGM?
Yeah, how's it going? So yeah, we got MMA champ here as well. Welcome to the panel. We got Brian Harkin. Hope you guys are doing well today. I've seen Brian a couple times today.
I've been on a few places. What's happening, or what are you talking about? I only got in.
It's really open topics. We talked a little bit about Fat Joe Diaz. We talked a little bit about the Josh Warrington knockout. You know, I had to recognize this guy for doing a 55-hour stream. He's not in the YTVC. He covers MMA, but I had to give him some props on that and for being innovative with this competition that he's done twice already. So I wanted to, you know, briefly bring those things up.
Okay. You know, Usman versus Burns was a great fight. You know, Usman, his jab was hurting Burns. You know, I think Usman has one of the best jabs in the UFC. You know, he just dropped Burns with a jab. It reminds me of when Jermell Charlo dropped, not even dropped, KO'd Rosario with a jab to the body. So, yeah.
So I have a quick question for you because I saw somebody say that it was a historical win. Is that true? And if so, what made it historical?
It's not a historical win. You know, Burns, he beat Woodley, yeah. But, you know, Burns, he was not like, you know, like some legend, UFC legend, nothing like that. I think Burns might be out of the four, which one? I think like the three fights, the four good fights Usman had, I think Burns was the least, you know, the least best in my opinion, but Burns is still a great opponent. Not gonna lie.
Okay. Some good insight because I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't know shit about MMA.
I didn't even know Usman, and I didn't even know. I know Usman, right? But I didn't even know he was fighting last weekend, so that's shit I give about MMA.
I actually saw a lot of promotion from on it actually, and that's probably because I'm sub to 3 MMA channels. Well, I guess technically 4 if you count MMA Champ because I am sub to his channel as well.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just checking the private chat. It was MMA Champ. Sorry about that. I didn't realize you were typing in the private chat. It's kind of hard to do this on the phone.
Yeah.
But
yeah, does anybody think that Josh Warrington can come back from this devastating loss? I think we have a couple of people from the UK So maybe get their thoughts on it.
All right, can I go?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think he can come back to the level he was at before. Like I just don't think he was ready for a tough Mexican. I like Josh Warrington. I think he's a good boxer. For me, it's always been this lack of power that he carries. Right, and he got beat up a lot more than I have seen him. Like ever. Like
Yeah, I'd have to
that was
agree with
always
you.
that was always something I was worried about because I've never really seen the kid get hit. In any type of fashion, I always seen him be quicker to the draw in and out. I'd never really seen him hit, so I was always worried about his chin. I never knew. He showed a bit of heart. He could have quit earlier, but I think he can come back to the same fashion he was at before. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great view on it. I was the same way. I think the first round, I think we saw for the first time that Warrington wasn't his usual self coming out, just engines firing or whatnot. Yeah. But in the second round, it seemed like he, started for the first time. And he came out and he hurt Lara a couple of times. And, the third round, I think he also dominated that round. And then, the fourth happened. And then from then on out, it's just, he played the war too long. But, go ahead. I want to get your thoughts.
Yeah, you know what it was, right? And I'm going to say this. Throughout the whole fight, right? Even when he was Warrington was landing punches, Lara he just seemed stronger. Right? When he was landing punches, there was just more there was more heat to them. And I don't think he ever experienced that before. So and his reaction he just didn't react well to it. There was a big power discrepancy. And I thought they might be going on. That was the one thing. I thought he was good enough to outbox him. Because I've never seen Warrington that sluggish. Never seen him that sluggish. But Lara just got in his grill and he didn't he didn't let him off.
I agree. But I also think, Warrington, he don't trade with the tougher fighters and the faster fighters, and that's what Warrington did. Warrington should have just used his jab and boxed. And it was a great fight for me, because I streamed the fight on my channel. I had a lot of people watching the live fight, and I'm surprised that Sky Sports didn't take my live down. That's crazy because usually, they copyright strike people, but yeah, it was a great fight. Lara, imagine if Lara took the IBF belt. That would be like one of the biggest upsets. So yeah.
No, that's very good points. MMA, yeah. I think that if the belt was in place right now, this would cause a lot of confusion. But yeah, very good points.
Yeah. Yeah. He once someone like Warrington, right, who's not really a trade fighter, he's not going to stand toe to toe with you. He might want to do that there, but that's not his fight game. When you get somebody as strong as Lara, and you're standing toe to toe with him, and every time he hits you, looks like he's hurting you, and you're hitting him, and your power is in question. He fought the wrong fight, but of course, I believe he let emotion get the better of him. So
yeah, no, I like MMA Champ was just saying about he didn't box him, the way we've always seen Warrington come into a fight, just like just better than all these guys. So that was the most shocking part for me. But
out of all the weekend, that's the one I didn't see coming. So Lara, Lara beating.
Yo, how did you do in the prediction league? I didn't actually look at it this week, but how'd you do?
I got 100 points.
Nice. That's very good.
Yeah. So
So
this week. Yeah.
I want to ask you guys, do you guys got any questions for Bob Arum? Because on you guys probably know the show. He's gonna be on the show today, and the person let's guess. So I'm gonna go on. So do you have any questions for Bob Arum, guys?
Just generally, what's happening with Devin Haney and Fing, and what's happening with Fury Joshua.
Okay.
Those are basically the only two questions with Bob Arum at this moment I really give a shit about. What's happening with those two fights?
Okay. You Red Glove.
Come back to me. I had one and I lost it.
Okay.
I'll try to remember what my question was.
1-2 kid.
I ain't got nothing to ask to do, man. Just stop.
Okay.
Stop. I'm gonna tell him though. Tell him to stop. When he pinches some bitch.
Actually, I remember what my question was now. But you don't have to ask it because being that he's a promoter and just how he is, I doubt he's gonna give like a real answer. But I am curious to know, what's going on because Teofimo Lopez doesn't seem to be too happy with how his career is being handled by Bob at the moment.
Oh.
Yeah, here's my thing with that, right? T was saying the contract, for another 3.5 years, whatever. So he's stuck in that situation. He put himself in there. So my sympathy is left for him. And I think if you sign for Bob, you know what you're getting, pretty much. So
yeah, get big fights and no money.
Yeah, and that, yeah, in that type of situation, Bob, we all know Bob's going to penny pinch. This is nothing new.
Right.
Bob put on some of the greatest fights in boxing history, right? But he's a promoter. He's going to get his cut. And his cut is going to be bigger than the fighters.
I got a question for y'all, though. I don't mean to cut you off, Brian. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Make you know where I'm going with that.
Manny Pacquiao, right? They're saying that depending on who the channel is, they're saying that Manny Pacquiao is offering Bud Crawford $10 million, and then another, depending on which side you're looking at, they saying, he wants $40 million. So he wants $50 million for a fight. Now, do you think that Bob is going to make that happen at all? When he wouldn't even give him $20 million to fight Bud when they were both with Top Rank?
Well, okay, I'm going to go and then I'm going to go to sleep. The situation I've heard, and I don't know if it's true or not, because there's a lot of different, what do you call it? There's a lot of different channels coming out with different information. The situation I've heard is that there's a wealthy Arab man offering the $50 million purse. So behind the scenes, he's offered and having it not Arab, Dubai. So a guy from Dubai, he's offering the $50 million purse. The money is already on the table. $40 million for Pacquiao, $10 million for Bud Crawford. If this is true, fight will happen. If it's not true and it's coming out of Bob Arum's, pocket, fight ain't happening.
Fight ain't happening. Exactly.
So
basically, Bob ain't offering nobody nothing. And,
pretty much.
Basically, Pacquiao ain't offering anybody anything. He just saying this is the cut he wants of the 50 mil.
Yeah. That's pretty much what I've heard. Okay. But I don't know if that's true or not.
All right.
I'll get
All
that
right,
information.
so this is
second round. All right, thanks for having me on RGM.
Oh, no
Later,
problem.
Brian.
Anytime, Brian. Take it
Talk to you
easy.
later, Daddy.
All
peace out, man.
What up,
Have a good
MMA
one.
champ? I know you was about to say something.
I think
Oh,
SA was gonna say. Oh, go ahead.
well, what was I gonna say? I think I was gonna oh, Pacquiao. He said training camp. On his one of his his official YouTube page. He said he's getting ready. He's just started training camp. So I wonder who it's gonna be against. They said that he's in negotiating with Crawford. Maybe it's almost set.
Well, I
Yeah,
know
it's
there was in negotiations prior, before the pandemic hit. I'm pretty sure, or they were trying to work it out during the pandemic, and I guess it fell through from what the reports were saying because of the pandemic. They were gonna do it kind of like that with the Saudis, I think, or in Dubai. I mean, and then
I
they
think I
they
heard
raised the
something similar.
regulations.
So here's how I look at it. Bob Arum gave an interview a while back saying that him and Terrence Crawford were trying to get the Manny Pacquiao fight. However, when he gave that interview, he was talking about Manny was supposed to get around $20 million for that fight. And now Manny comes out and doubles that price. So it's just unrealistic. It's not going to happen. Already, Bob Arum has shown reservations about wanting to spend money on Bud Crawford. If he's talking shit about spending 45 million, what the fuck you think he's going to say whenever he's got to spend 40 million?
Right, but he's saying that it's being offered by someone else. What I'm saying is prior to the negotiations, I know they were negotiating some years ago about the fight happening, and Manny wanted 20 million, and Bob said it was too much.
Yeah, I think it speaks volumes as far as what's going on in the heavyweight division right now. With Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, possible undisputed going on, and everything tied into it. It's is the money there? And if
Right.
like MMA champ is saying, there's a private investor that wants to, put that money up, then yeah, let it happen.
But here's the thing: do you guys think that it's possibly a duck? Because when he fought Thurman was champion, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he got 20 million for that fight, right? And he had 2 titles, didn't he? Or just one?
One.
Who?
One.
Thurman.
Right.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
he needs another 20 million to fight Crawford. What's that say about Terrence Crawford? How good is this guy? It's
Good
one
point.
title. It's one title, but now he needs 40. I don't know, man. I know you ask high, but damn. 40?
I find it hard to believe that there's a private investor that's willing to put up $50 million for that fight, because I don't think it makes
Okay,
50.
yeah. We need to clear that up. We did not say that. Just to clear that up, Tony, but go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm just saying, I do not see how that fight makes $50 million. I don't see it. The Thurman fight didn't make that much, and Thurman's a much bigger name, household name, than Bud Crawford is. So I just financially, it's not going to happen, especially when you figure you can't have fans in an arena, and if you do have them in an arena, they got to be in a 6x6 bubble away from everybody else, so that takes a say 20,000 plus arena and shrinks it down to maybe you might get 4,000 to 6,000 people in that entire arena. In fact, no, let's say this: if it was a 36,000 arena, you'd only get 6,000 people. And it's just, I find it hard to believe that a Bud Crawford and a Manny Pacquiao gets anywhere near making $50 million.
Yeah.
I think it was Two Hands. He brought it up, and he brought up a really good point. He said instead of hitting up these regular arenas, why aren't they hitting up the college arenas that can hold 80,000, where you can fit like 18 to 20,000 people in there at a safe distance? for a fight. Why haven't they explored that?
Yeah, there's a lot of options that I just feel like they're missing out on. Like, that boxing's not this old guy's sport anymore. They've got to like start linking in with what you're saying on these advertisements. Not just like the number one thing that's like trying to maybe help out a fight, but get in with like some of these newer sports or esports going on. And I don't know, I think they're missing out on a lot.
I've said it and I'll say it again. Boxing is dying. It's been dying, and it's slowly spiraling down to the ground before it crashes and burns. It's been a dying sport.
At least here in America. So I think I don't know that the sport will ever truly go away. I think it'll always exist at some capacity, but I could definitely see where we never get fights here in the United States if interest in the sport doesn't pick up.
Yeah, but see, that's a big issue, like, because America has always been where fighters go to make the most money. Now you got the Saudis getting involved, where they got the oil money in the Middle East, which is cool. You got the people in Dubai, the Emirates, whatever. But I don't know, bro. Like, I just know without a doubt, there's no way in fuck Manny Pacquiao versus Bud Crawford, $50 million anywhere you put it.
Yeah, that's it's a hard way to look at, because coming from America, like myself, I can speak for myself on this. Coming from America, we don't really look at it as necessarily the number one sport or anything like that. But for Saudi to put up that type of money and have the opportunity to put up that amount of money just goes to show that that they do have first choice when it comes to like some of these luxury expenses that people will travel to see.
They put that AJ and Ruiz fight together.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you've got them, but even with them, it's very limited to what they're even doing. Like, I think they did a fight for Amir Khan, and they did the AJ fight. But even if you have them, they're only doing one fight every couple of years. Like, that's not enough money in boxing to keep it afloat.
Oh yeah. Well, in the meantime and in between time, that's what I think Black was touching on. Who's gonna make it through this pandemic and who's putting on the show. That's why I'm not too mad at Teofimo, because he took the cuts, and right now he's putting. I don't blame him for jumping on the purse bid and trying to get the purse bid on the fight to get the pay that he's supposed to do, because in order to get the fights, I think his dad did play it very correctly by getting the shot at Lomachenko, but the 1.5 after the titles is a bit or the 1.2 is kind of low for the type of stuff that he's been through, and the fact that he's been trying to keep the sport alive. Like, some guys are trying to keep the sport alive on their backs, and they taking pay cuts to do it. And I think that they should be compensated for putting it on their back. You know what I'm saying?
You're damn right, 1-2 kid. It has been saving it. Go ahead, Tony. I'll do it.
I understand that you agree with him sporting, but I disagree. I agree, but I disagree. The thing about Teofimo Lopez is he killed his own money-making career with Bob Arum. Bob Arum's to the point the way he let it go to purse bid because he's not going to fork out the money. Why? Because he denied the one thing that would have boosted his stock through the roof, that rematch with Lomachenko. I believe he beats him more convincingly in a rematch. However, this is like one of the first times in the history of boxing I've ever seen a guy beat a champion and refuse to give him a rematch, who was a long reigning champion, who many consider the number one guy, and you're not going to give him a rematch. He hurt his own stock.
Okay, well, we'll just go ahead and we'll refer right back to the interview that happened this past weekend. And I know it's not, a lot of people haven't heard this or whatnot, but Tio was asked this weekend, and you know what he replied to it? He said, "Blame Loma. He didn't respect me enough to put a rematch clause. So blame him. I'm not giving respect to people that won't give me respect." I like what 1-2 Kid was saying about, his wins are speaking volumes for him right now. So yeah, man, I've got nothing bad to say about Tio. I'm not even, I don't want to like seem biased towards anybody. I'm just going to speak from the heart.
I understand what you're saying, and a part of me doesn't disagree, but a part of me does, because at the end of the day, you could say Lomachenko was disrespecting him by this or that, but Lomachenko gave him the opportunity to get in the ring with him. So that disrespect only goes so far when you're talking about it. However, what we do know is a lot of diehard La Homo fans are all running to the shoulder injury, which I don't believe. As somebody who fought before 32 amateur fights, my shoulders tore up. Every fighter who's ever fought could go have a shoulder surgery. That is the biggest cop out of my, unless you see it come out the rotator cuff and it's dislocated in the fight, it's a bullshit injury. But you have a lot of people on his bandwagon who believe his shoulder was severely messed up during that fight. With him releasing pictures of the surgery, which proved that he had it, which I don't doubt. It just, I'm telling you, he hurt his own stock, because had he taken the rematch, whooped his ass the second time, like I believe he can, then it's solidified that he is the man. No questions, no running, no ducking, no dodging.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. And I like your idea of, when you win multiple belts, it's, when you look at somebody and say, how did you get to this point in life? If they're like, you know what, my dad gave me something, you're like, okay, you don't really know what's going on. But in Loma's case, when you win belts, I understand where you're coming from, Tony. And I do like that argument as far as like, there should be like set things. And, like when you're going up for like 3 belts at a time, there should be set things like, yeah, maybe you win 2, maybe you win 1 belt. But, if you don't give a rematch, you only win 1 or you only win 2 belts. But you get what I'm saying at that. But I do like your energy on like, where you're coming from on that.
Yeah, those are both arguments are actually very valid. Like I really don't see a problem with either argument. It's funny because they're counter, to each other, but they both make actual perfect sense.
And again, I mean, I do agree with him. Like, Tio doesn't owe Loma anything. Nobody owes anybody anything. But at the end of the day, you've got to think about what is going to up your stock. What is going to be the greatest investment in yourself? You took the challenge once. Why wouldn't you bet on yourself again? And when people see that, it seems like you're questioning, because going from Lomachenko to Kambosos, even though that's his mandatory, come the fuck on. Like, he could have taken Devin Haney, who has the other belt, and done a true undisputed instead of fighting him, because for undisputed, your mandatories are trumped. Like, there's other options he could have taken, but he goes from a possible rematch with, some will argue, the hardest competitor, to a guy that nobody's even fucking heard of, but damn, people jumping around in kangaroo pouches.
Okay, so I'll just speak to you on this way. If I'm a young kid, I'm coming up, I beat the man that some people had touted as the best to ever do it in boxing. And then, the sanctioning body, the leader of the sanctioning body, tells me that I'm the real champ. I wouldn't necessarily put any weight into some other person. So I get his thought process on this, but like we speak as fans, we don't speak as them. So yeah, it's a weird situation.
Yeah, but the thing about the definition of undisputed is it means you can't dispute it. And the very fact that there's another fucking real champion out there means that it can be disputed. So if something can be disputed, then it cannot be undisputed.
Yeah, but I think it's Loma's stock that took the hit. I mean, he don't have any belts. no big name fighters talking about getting in the ring with him now. He has very little to offer. They talking about him fighting Nakatani, which would have been a light years away from what he wanted to do up until his loss. So it's his stock that dropped. I think as for the finances, of course, if he signed with Bob Earl, I'm talking about Teofimo, yeah, that's gonna hurt him. But let's put it in perspective. I think his stock has risen quite a bit.
See, and I disagree with that. I think the Nakatani fight is the most thought out fight that he could take. It's the most impactful fight because when you look at Teofimo Lopez versus Nakatani, Teo was getting fucked up in that fight. So if Loma comes back with a repaired shoulder, I'm doing my bunny ears right here because I don't believe it, but he comes back with his repaired shoulder and whitewashes Nakatani, then there's an argument to be had that look at how bad Teo looked against him, and this dude just got a one-sided ass whooping against Loma. So that's why they're targeting him. It makes sense from that aspect.
I get that aspect, but that style matchup is all for Lomachenko anyway. Like I already broke that down. I got Lomachenko whitewashing Nakatani, and I enjoy watching Nakatani. I'm a Nakatani fan. I just think the style matchup is all wrong for Nakatani, even with his dimensions. He's just too slow. His timing is not good. Like he has an offbeat rhythm, but I think his timing, there's too many holes that I think Lomachenko is going to expose. So it may work out the way that you say. It may go that route. But what I'm trying to say is Nakatani, if he did come back, even with his big win, do you think Lomachenko would even blinked an eye at him if he hadn't lost to Teofimo?
Yeah, let me say this real quick. We're gonna, definitely give Nakatani all his props, especially after that latest win. But Red Glove Militant, go ahead and introduce the newest guest.
That's exactly what I was gonna do too. So we got the Magnaverse, aka Blue Nuts, aka Myron Magnus. Welcome to the panel. And then we got Recognize the Matrix. So I respect both these guys to the fullest. It's funny because Myron Magnus just uploaded like a shorter version of one of my favorite videos that he ever did, the damage control, and that was in reference to the first Wilder Tyson Fury fight. And Recognize, man, he's been solid since day one. I've never heard this guy say anything, and I'm like, this guy don't know what the hell he's talking about. He's always very logical, makes sense. So welcome to the panel, both of you.
Thank you, Red Glove. You've been there since the beginning, champ.
Yeah, Myron, I've always liked Myron's style. Like he has like a spiritual sense to him. I don't know how to put it, and I don't know. Maybe it's just the alcohol. Just kidding.
It's that too, motherfucker.
Hey, there ain't nothing wrong with having a good time. I spoke on that earlier. Like, as long as you're responsible, have at it.
Well, that's why I created the show, The Boxing Brew, too.
Yep. So, what do y'all? Either of you could go. First, but what are your thoughts on this whole thing with Lopez and all this?
I mean, I've been having a great chat. First of all, I've been listening for the last about 20 minutes, and everybody's been making great points. Real talk. I mean, and I came in on the point with a guy like, yeah, we could see it both ways. If Teofimo didn't want to give Loma the rematch because of Loma not giving him a rematch clause, I understand. And then I understand the man's point when he's saying, if he did take the rematch with Loma, it could just do nothing but more solidify his position. I can agree with that too. And can
I interrupt just for a moment? It's not going to take long. I just want to say this, and just to add to that, to Tony's point on that you just mentioned, it reminds me of Harrison when he beat Charlo. Now, even though he lost in the rematch, I had a much better outlook on him when he said, you know what, he can get his rematch. He could try to get the belt back, and there was no rematch clause for that fight. As far as if I remember correctly, he didn't have to give him that rematch. He chose to give it to him. So that made me give him more respect. And I look back on, I was there when he lost his first match against when he got knocked out by Willie Nelson. And I'm like, man, I saw this guy take his first loss. He came back and beat somebody that he was supposed to lose to, and he's willing to give that man a rematch, no questions asked. But go ahead, Myron.
Yeah,
Yeah,
real quick, that Harrison fight, both of them were very good. Go ahead.
yeah, definitely. I think T.O. So what's going on right now? They're talking about a purse bid, and that's for which fight?
The Cambosis, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. The Cambosis.
I think yeah, because it's been going back and forth between Cambosis and the and somebody else. I can't remember. But I think he needs to honestly, I wanted to see the Devin Haney fight. I want to see every fight that's being uttered, that's being rumored, that's just they throwing out there in the air. But you know what? Now that we're talking about it, and I do believe Lomachenko did disrespect him, and he mentioned that before the fight, leading up in the build up, how there is no rematch clause in there. T.O. brought that to the light of everybody. T.O. was the first one who brought that up. We didn't know that until T.O. Fimo said that. So and I was like, that's fucked up, because T.O. Fimo, it wasn't like he was coming to the fight without a belt. He was a champion as well. IBF, we all know. So it would have been just proper respect. So I understand where T.O. Fimo come from, but after the point made, I think it would be definitely, since they want to still keep Lomachenko in the top 10, which he deserves to be, because he was probably like number 3 before he lost to Teofimo. He should get his ass waxed by Teofimo again. I honestly believe in the second fight, Teofimo, Yasaloma was coming on a little bit in the later of the fight, but I think a second fight, Teofimo can stop him. I picked Teofimo to win more. I mean, definitely strongly in a rematch, and he probably should do that. And that would then, where would Lomachenko go from there? Because Lomachenko did look like a little mini version of Deontay Wilder with all these stupid excuses. I mean, his pride was. I mean, for real, he looked like he became the Ukrainian Wilder. His pride was hurt like shit.
Yeah, I would agree with that, man. Something that doesn't like to be talked about, but yeah, man, he did the same thing. But I will say one thing: he didn't commit to him as much as Wilder did.
No, not at all. He know when to shut the fuck up. So
yeah,
but he has a better PR team around him. Let's just put it like that. So yeah, man. But I think we need to go ahead and see that again, because that was the last fight. Can we all honestly say that was the last fight we seen where it just like everybody's energy raised tremendously?
I agree with that. Yep. I think
this was
that
the last fight within the last 52. Like I deal with stocks too. I'm a little investor part time. This is like how they say it's like this is the last 52-week year. That was the 52-week high.
it was arguably the biggest fight of 2020. You can argue that it was,
it was.
You could probably say Tyson Fury Wilder rematch was probably the biggest fight or the biggest event. But in terms of like
diehards though, Teofimo and Loma.
Well, it set the gate record, so that just speaks, I mean, people were willing to go to the fight. Obviously, it's going to do good viewing.
It wasn't a gate for the Teofimo and Loma, so we don't know because it was behind.
Exactly. Yeah. And that was going to be at the Garden, too.
We can't judge that because that was under the pandemic, remember?
The fight was supposed to be in the Garden originally, and then obviously, the pandemic happened and everything changed.
So that was,
Yeah. But look, this is my opinion on Teofimo and Teofimo mainly, and then Loma, kind of just comes into that. Everything, I don't think there's nothing to dislike about Teofimo inside the ring. Inside the ring, especially his last 3 fights, you could say it's very, very, it's been very solid. Nakatani, that was a close fight. I thought Tio won. I thought he edged it out. Then he knocks out Comey, and we see
definitely beat that.
Yeah, and then we see the Comey fight, and he knocks him out in 2 rounds, and then Comey, comes back and fights a pretty, a guy who's on the come up, who thought a lot of people thought he had a chance, and he knocked him out. So Comey's turning out to be a great win. I mean, he's always been solid anyway. And then he beats Lomachenko in a fight that I thought was very close. I thought he won. I thought Tio edged it out 7-5, maybe even 8-4, but definitely not 9-3 or 11-1. That's a little too much for me. Ridiculous. And so now the outside business, this is the one thing I will say. I think Teofimo needs to learn how to choose his words carefully. He sounds a little sweet to me when he says, "Oh, he disrespected me." Well, this is boxing. You could take care of that in the ring. You know what I'm saying? Beat him. I think he would beat him again in a rematch if they were to fight again. I think the upside of him winning in a rematch is more in his favor. He's still young. He's 22, 23 years old. Lomachenko is like 31, 32. He's looking to maybe even slow down a little bit. And if it's true about his injuries, that's a sign of him breaking down. So I would definitely favor Teofimo. What I think Lopez is doing is trying to talk his way into bigger money. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just he's choosing his words when you're talking about boxing and somebody hurting your feelings, and that's why you're not going to fight him. That sounds like bullshit to me.
So this is what I look at. I'm 50-50 with this because I said earlier, I think Tio beats Loma in the rematch. However, as I'm thinking on it, really truthfully, when you think about Lomachenko, his coming out party was really when he beat Nicholas Walters. That's really when he solidified himself as the real deal, beating him. However, when I think about that fight, Walters was on like a 13, 14-month layoff of not fighting. Loma was active, and he beat him. Walters looked very rusty. Now, when I think about the Tio fight, same thing that happened with Walters and Loma. Loma this time was on a long layoff for like 13, 14 months. And then he gets in there with Tio. The first 6 rounds, we don't really see him throw a lot of punches. Then he started to warm up. Then when he warmed up from that 7th to 11th round, he could not fucking miss Tio's face. Everything he threw connected. So I'm almost teeter-totting back to, I really don't know how a rematch would turn out because you would have an active Lomachenko who hasn't been shelved. And the one thing about getting older, as you mentioned, is when you sit stagnant, it affects you worse the older you get than when you're young. When you're old, you have to stay active because you lose it so fast. So I don't know. Like, it could be
I think he almost got knocked out in the 12th round.
Yeah, I think in the last, Lomachenko was doing a great job in the middle rounds towards the end, but in the 12th round, I really feel like Tio was slapping him around the ring.
He was about to knock his ass out, bro.
Listen to what I said. If he was truly out of season ring rusted, then it's going to show the most in the 12th round. We never saw him look exhausted, and he looked exhausted going into that 12th round.
Hey, Tony, I understand where you're coming from, but you creating another narrative and excuse for this dude.
I'm not
Nobody ever been talking
anything.
about no ring
I'm
rust
just
for
saying.
fucking Loma.
I'm saying
nobody mentioned no ring rust, do you? Like, you create another narrative and shit.
I'm not.
Well, I think he's.
So now you gonna give this dude say ring rust? Everybody.
Well, no. I think he's just looking at it from all possibilities.
I understand, but he ain't old. 32 ain't old. You talking like he like 38 or 40.
Do you realize?
Yeah.
Hold on. Say this. Do you realize that the lighter weight class you are, the older you are by a younger age?
That's true.
Oh my God.
That is, he's got a point there because
it's theoretical, dude. And I understand
when you look at a big man,
it's not theoretical.
It's
the lighter weight guys do not have the longevity as you see when they get bigger and bigger and bigger.
All right,
men
I'm going to take this opportunity real quick just to answer Recognize's question because we're getting really off topic here. But yeah, like he said about Teofimo talking this past weekend and about him, talking about he's undisputed right now and he's looking to move up and fight the winner of Taylor Ramirez for undisputed to become the double champ undisputed. Like that's what the real whole premise of this whole talk should be. And yeah, I like that comment that Recognized had.
Yeah, the one look, the Tony, I think it's Tony Reviews. He brings up a good point. Look, it's kind of, it's factual actually. It depends on everybody. Everybody's a little different. When you're 6 feet and over, and you're like, 190, maybe 175 and up, and your physical capability lasts longer. If you keep yourself in shape, you don't get injured. You stay relatively healthy. There is some truth to that. Now, that's not making excuses. Look, Lomachenko, I picked him to kick Teofimo's ass. He fought a horrible game plan. I mean, credit to Teofimo for being good enough to take advantage of his size over Lomachenko in the first six rounds. And I think the 12th round, the reason why Loma got in trouble was because I believe he thought he was so behind, he had to go for it. And so the reason he got hurt is because you gotta be careful with Teofimo. He's a great counterpuncher. So he gave, even though Teofimo may have been tired, he gave him his best option. Okay, I got to counterpunch this guy? Then I'm going to have to do that, and he's going to get the better end of it. Had he done that earlier, just come in with no thought of getting caught like he was doing in the 12th round, he might have got knocked out. That's the reason why Lomachenko didn't attack Teofimo, especially early. He just knew.
But that's a credit to Teofimo for not just his size, but his timing too. His jab kept Lomachenko resetting. Even though they weren't landing clean, he had to be prepared and keep his hands at home.
Yeah.
Right.
Listen, brothers.
He had to keep him at home. And I'm not against the rematch. Like, I think it would be a great fight.
I think it'd be great, yeah.
Yeah, I think it'd be great. I don't have a problem with that. I just have a problem with the Loma fans because they're quick to say things like, well, he had an injured shoulder and all this. I'm like, but yet his word wasn't good before the fight when he said this is the healthiest he's ever been. And now at the end of the fight, now he's saying this. So his word is kind of suspect now. I mean, he didn't stick around in the ring. He didn't really congratulate the man. He didn't do any of that. Like, that's sore loser shit too. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's a bad sportsmanship also. So, I mean, the fact that Tio's in his feelings about it, I get it. I get what Tony's saying.
My bad.
But but there is some validity to what was going on and what was being said, and he didn't put a rematch clause in it. But I'm not against the fight. I'm totally with the fight. You know what I mean? Whether he goes that route, takes Devin Haney, or I would like to see him fight Devin Haney, and then if he wins, move up. Just to clear up the whole undisputed thing. But yeah, like whatever, man. The kid's got options.
I mean,
I'm gonna let Myron go, and then I think I'm gonna go ahead and end it. I usually do closing thoughts, but I don't think my phone is going to allow that with how much battery I have left.
Hey, gentlemen, I'm gonna jump off, man. I just wanted to chime in quickly. I'm on the run, not literally, but I got to do something.
No, I hear you. Much respect. Thanks for jumping on.
You guys in the chat, man. Great conversation.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. So go ahead, Myron, because I know you was about to say something.
I want to say is, look, when we was talking about this fight leading up, nobody was talking about Loma ring rust. You know what I'm saying? When we was talking about this fight leading up, it was no such thing as no injury, shoulder injury. It was none of these things. I said, if anybody remember the video, and I got a lot of slack for it, I broke down how you beat Loma. And I made a plain old video, and I went on everybody's live saying, yo, Loma cannot fight going backwards. He cannot fight off the back foot. And that's when, do y'all remember the build-up? No, everybody was like, what the hell are you talking about? We've seen him fight off the back foot. I was like, he cannot fight off the back foot. Then,
I remember you saying it too, man. And that, for me, is going to just say, go ahead and shout out Myron Magnus, support his channel. And, yeah, man, Red, I'm out of here.
All right. Peace.
But I'm just saying, didn't Teofimo said it in the build-up to the fight? Like, he can't fight going backwards. I was like, oh, they see it. And it was done, and that was the game plan, to beat him to the punch and have Loma reset. That's what took forever. It took him so long to figure it out, because I believe that Lomachenko thought that they was going to fight a defensive battle. They didn't expect him to come front foot dominant. And that's what the Matrix had an issue with. Neofimo solved it.
I don't know if I agree with that, only because in the first 6 rounds, Loma lost because he didn't let his hands go. However, inside of those rounds, he was showboating like he normally does, as if he was winning the rounds. So there was something off in Loma's head, because he was doing his little matador waving of the cape, the invisible cape, like, you know, Teal was the bull. He was doing all that. And the first 6 rounds, he just wasn't firing back. So with all the showboating he was doing, I think he honestly thought he was winning the fight. But like Adrian Broner, if you don't let your hands go, you can't win the fight. So I don't know. But I want to say this. If Teal really does go up to fight Josh Taylor, because he's going to beat Ramirez, there's no question. If he fights Josh Taylor, he doesn't need to fuck around with Devin Haney. Just go do it. That's more impressive, in my opinion.
You think Josh Taylor beats Ramirez?
He's going to destroy him. He is going to dismantle him.
Interesting.
Ramirez can't fight. I don't mean he can't fight. Ramirez only has one way of fighting, and he cannot adapt. Every fight he fights is identical. Whereas Josh Taylor can fight from range, he can fight from mid, he can fight close. The only flaw I'll give you that Josh Taylor does is he likes to beat you at how you fight. So that's where it could get dangerous.
Well, okay.
Tries to out Ramirez doing.
Tony, let's take a bet on that when a fight come about.
What's that?
Let's take a bet.
I don't care. I'll bet on that fight because I know Taylor is going. I would not be surprised if Ramirez doesn't make it.
You think it's you telling you so you betting on Taylor knocking out Ramirez?
I said I would not be surprised. More than likely it's going to go a decision for Josh Taylor, but I would not be surprised if Ramirez gets put down from just getting battered.
No, I don't think Josh Taylor has that power to do that, but I see Ramirez stopping Taylor.
So what you're telling me is you think
I'm betting Ramirez.
No. Listen to what I'm saying.
I'm betting Ramirez stops Taylor 10th round.
Right. So listen to this. What you're saying is you believe Ramirez hits harder than Regis and is a faster puncher.
Regis is a B-level fighter.
Get the fuck out of here. And you think Ramirez is good?
I'm okay. Well, the time will tell, bro. That's why I feel.
Bruh, fucking Ramirez looked damn near clueless about how to fight post-style. He didn't do anything different.
It's probably that length. He ain't have, I mean, maybe the skill, that level of skill to deal with that length of post-style. Possibly, but that's not Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor, I pick him to stop Josh Taylor 10th round. You want to take that bet?
I'll take that bet. But all I'm going to say is when Josh Taylor fought post-style, he adapted to his style and showed that he could think on his feet, unlike Ramirez.
Yeah, he don't stop nobody. Who did he stop?
I didn't say he stopped him. I said he adapted to him and beat him more convincingly.
Okay, he definitely ain't stopping nobody. But I feel you though.
Yeah, I think Taylor's a hell of a fighter. I think he's a hell of a fighter, but I think Ramirez is going to surprise everybody with his jab. That's how he gets inside. He got a power jab, and I think they both had an issue with post style, and they were both close fights. So, I mean, but I do feel that Taylor has more in his trick book. You know what I mean? He has a lot more things he can go to, but can he deal with that type of pressure? You know, that Ramirez is going to bring. So I think it's a great fight, man. It's a good fight. I wouldn't be surprised if Taylor wins, but I'm gonna pick Ramirez in the fight.
I think Ramirez is more explosive than way more explosive than Regis Prograde. Regis Prograde abilities, his skills ain't caught up with the height.
I think that when I watched Regis and Josh Taylor fight, Josh Taylor was outclassing him, and then he turned it into a phone booth brawl. He went in to fight it the way that Regis fights. However, with
I
that,
agree with you because he's
okay,
better than Regis.
right. But listen, with that being said, here's the issue with Ramirez. He has one speed and only one speed. So everything he does is very one dimensional. Any boxer with any type of IQ is going to know how quick he's going to throw his jab, how quick his hooks are going to come, what angle he's going to attack from, because there is no levels to what he does. At least with Regis, he has soft touches, hard touches, quick touches, slow touches. He moves at different angles. Like it's just a whole different league of boxing. Like I'm telling you, he's gonna look like a C-class fighter. I guarantee it.
Everybody got plan to get punched in the mouth, right?
Yeah,
I mean, everybody got to wait can talk
of
about until they actually inside the ring with that person who fights with that intensity. Tyson at one point only fought with one speed in the beginning of his career. That's all Tyson fought at was one speed, remember? So it depends on who. I mean, how he's going to come with a game plan too. How he going to have his effective aggressiveness. So it depends. But Josh Taylor, I don't think has the power to take out nobody once he stepped over here. I mean, and prove that with Regis. Regis, again, I've never been on Regis. I always thought he was, you know, in the world of boxing right now. Yeah, they can make a name for this guy, but how much did he prove before Josh Taylor? If you really look at his resume, he improved much before Josh Taylor. So I always thought he was a B-level fighter. I mean, a decent B-level fighter. He couldn't, move up, but I think, that's
Hey, yo, Red, I know you was cutting it short, so I'm gonna be out, man. It was nice chopping it up with Tony Reviews and Magnus. And thanks for having me on, Red, and Recognize and the whole team. Always a pleasure, guys. Have a good one, y'all.
Yeah, appreciate it.
1-2 kid. Good night, peace and pugilism. Tony's Reviews, you dope, man. Peace and pugilism to you.
All right, back at you, bro.
RGM, peace and pugilism. I'm gonna get out here, man.
Oh, peace, Myron. You're always welcome. Your insight is always, it's always appreciated.
You sound like all tired or something now, regular.
No. I've just been I went and switched over to my tablet. I didn't know if I was gonna be able to but just so I don't keep everybody, I'm still gonna end it. But you're welcome to talk a little bit more if you want to, but we'll be ending this soon.
No, I'm out of here, bro. Y'all all be easy, man. Have a good night. Peace and pugilism to you. One love.
All right. Peace to you as well. And Tony's Reviews, it's always a pleasure with you as well. You got anything else you wanted to touch on real quick?
Nah, man. I appreciate you letting me on. I always like to hit the flip side to the coin. Sometimes you got to walk across the flow of traffic to let your point be seen and heard.
Yeah. I think I understand what you were saying. Like, it's good to look at all possibilities. There ain't nothing wrong with that. So thanks, Tony. I'm gonna go ahead and end it. Before I do, I just want to thank everybody who jumped on the panel. Brian Harkin, 1-2 Kid, Recognize, L Dog jumped on for a little bit, MMA Champ, Black Horseman. I hope I don't forget anybody. Myra Magnus. If I forgot you, I apologize, but I appreciate all of you for jumping on the panel. I think everybody did a great job. It got a little bit heated there for a little bit, but that's fine. Nobody got out of line. But before I end this, I also want to give some big shout outs to two people that are in the chat, or hopefully they're still in the chat. But Durden, thank you for stopping by. I don't think I acknowledged you in the chat, but I don't think I got to acknowledge you on here. And then the other two that I want to go ahead and acknowledge is Boxing After Dark and Nocturnal Thoughts. Thank you so much for stopping by. Be safe out there. I saw you said you was driving, and it's kind of crazy out there in Illinois. So do greatly appreciate you. Definitely check him out. He got an awesome channel. And then I want to go ahead and thank H Money. H Money and I, we have a little bit of a past, but he's a man, and he apologized, and he said, we're done with it. It's behind us. And I want to go ahead and take this time to say, you know what? Um, I apologize for some of the stuff I said because we both made attacks on each other. But it's not anything that we can't get past. He was man enough to do it. I got to be man enough to do it as well. So, H Money, thank you so much for stopping by. Um, I know you caught it a little bit at the end, but I understand. You got a life, you got things you got to take care of. I don't know if you have kids or anything like that. If you do, you gotta take care of the family before you know do the hobby. So I get it. But thank you so much, H Money, for showing me that you definitely um can be the bigger man. And I do want you to know that it is appreciated over here. But yeah, and everybody check out H Money as well. H Money got a channel. If you like the hype, if you like, the uh all the being animated and all that, he got you covered. We all got our lanes, and boxing after dark, man. This dude, he's I don't know. I don't see many channels who cover the sport the way that he does. Um, and that's not saying that I don't appreciate anybody else's content. I appreciate everybody's. But yeah, everybody, y'all have a good night. Y'all be safe. Hopefully we can do this again. I'll probably wait till next month. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe I'll do one more. But definitely working on the content. And everybody be safe. Peace.